Welcome to this afternoon's Sunday concert. My name is Annabelle Dodd, and I'm a trustee of the Framingham Library. Today's concert is brought to you by our sponsors: Middlesex Savings Bank, Metro Credit Union, St. Mary's Credit Union, Brookdale Cushing Park, Roach Brothers Markets, the Law Office of Jeffrey M. Steinberg, and the Friends of the Framingham Library. And if you haven't joined, please do so we can continue bringing you programs like this that are paid for partially by the Friends. We are delighted to have two outstanding musicians with us this afternoon: cellist Carol O. and violinist James Buswell. They are celebrating their 26th anniversary of performing together. They've performed across 5 continents, and we are so happy to have them here this afternoon. So even though we can't hear you, let's give them a big Framingham welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It is such a pleasure for us to be here at the invitation of the Framingham Public Library and the Friends of the Library here. Jamie and I have been to a concert series here over the years, and it's such an incredible atmosphere always to be here with a crowd of devoted music lovers on a Sunday afternoon, enjoying fellowship amongst people who love the library and the music, and with cookies and drinks. What could be a better way to spend an afternoon? And we really miss that atmosphere here, and we're just incredibly thankful that the people involved in putting this production together for the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live program today has spent the time and effort and a great deal of thought and planning into making this happen. So we're very, very grateful for Annabelle, Bob, and all everybody involved. So thank you for bringing us here. Jamie and I have known each other for a very long time. And before then, when I was a little girl, I remember hearing violin and cello duo for the very first time in a friend's car. In particular, I remember just being a kid learning the cello, piano, a bunch of things, like all the other overscheduled kids in the world right now, trying to learn as much as possible. And classical music was just something that washed over me as a kid. But I remember being in a carpool with a bunch of friends one time, and someone put on the Passacaglia. I didn't know what that was. I just remember hearing it on the radio. And on the CD, I don't think actually it was tape. Back then it was audio tape. We're not even into CD era yet, so that dates me a little bit. But anyways, the Handel-Passacaglia is played by Yasha Heifetz and William Primrose. And I remember thinking, wow, what an exciting, exuberant piece. And then when I found out that it was by Handel, I just couldn't quite believe it, because I didn't know he wrote music for violin and viola, or violin and cello. And I was right. And later on, I found out that this piece was actually known as the Handel-Halvorsen Passacaglia. Handel had first written this piece, this Passacaglia, as part of a harpsichord sonata. And if you can imagine what a harpsichord sounds like, it has that kind of noisy, clackety clang, kind of exuberant sound that comes from the ancient Bach's precursor to the modern piano. And the music of the Baroque era is always full of energy, excitement, fast notes, slow notes, whatever. It's just a great deal of variety. And it took a 19th century composer, Mr. Halvorsen from Scandinavia, who sort of thought this would be a really cool piece to give to instruments that didn't necessarily, bring to mind the Baroque era, namely the violin and viola. And of course, later on, the piece caught on for the duo, and other people have since then transcribed it for violin and cello. So this, what a passacaglia is, it's a 4-bar, in this particular case, it is a 4-bar harmonic progression. And from that, there are more than a dozen, 2 dozen variations that come out of that 4-bar phrase that you'll hear us play 4 bars of just chords, and then after that, the whole bunch of variations. And after the variations, you'll need a couple of codas. So that's the exuberant Passacaglia by Handel, as transcribed by Halvorsen. Thank you guys so much. A nice, lovely, small, but very ardent audience here at the library. So we're very grateful for the human contact. So Jamie and I have been able to play only inside our house for our immediate family members who are also enthusiastic, but it is wonderful to be able to play for different people and for so many people. And I want to give a shout out to all of my relatives out in California and also many, many friends across the country here and in some relatives and friends over Asia when they do tune in after the middle of the middle of the night. So thank you for everybody who has chosen to tune into this program today. The next work on our program is are the 4 duets by Gliere. Gliere is a Russian romantic composer, so we're going to move from the Baroque to straight into the Romantic era. And Gliere wrote 8 lovely short vignettes for this combination. So this is not an arrangement, he wrote it straight for the violin and cello, 8 little duets of which we will present 4. And not unlike my connection to the Handel-Passacaglia in listening to it for the first time in the car, this is also another Heifetz special that I heard in my friend's car growing up and driving along the 405 freeway from San Fernando Valley to Santa Monica to where we went to school. And a good friend of mine would put on music that I didn't know for these long car trips. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot during those teenage years. And this is one of the interesting pieces that I remember sort of hearing about this guy named Heifetz and then his buddy, another Russian great cellist by the name of Grigor Chadagorsky. And so the two of them played these duos. The first time I heard that combination was actually the first movement of this work called the Prelude. And it seemed very mysterious and lugubrious. It started out with a cello solo, which we can already tell this was why it drew me into the recording. So it's a gorgeous, very mysterious, dark, and somber, short little prelude, and followed by a very lovely gavotte. So we're harking back to the Baroque dance in a 4/4 meter, and then followed. Then after the gavotte, we will be playing a lovely tune that we always think of our kids for this. It's called a lullaby. And then the last movement that we will present will be the scherzo, which is also, slightly in that Baroque exuberant dance vein. But scherzo means a joke, so it's already kind of lighthearted and poking fun at a dance theater that's in 3. So sometimes it'll kind of trip you up by making you kind of scratch your head and go, was that in 3 or was that in 2? Anyway, so these short vignettes by Gliere.
I just want to add one thing to what my wife has already told you about these pieces. These were some of the first pieces that Carol and I had the pleasure of playing together when we were getting to know each other. And then we ended up playing 2 movements of this set for our wedding dinner. Mm-hmm. And I remember with such clarity that one of the pieces we played together was the cradle song. And as I played the cradle song, in my mind, I thought, would it be wonderful if God blesses our marriage with some children? I would love to have a little girl to hold while I sing the cradle song. And sure enough, a year later, the young lady arrived, and her name is Anna, and she's probably listening to the concert right There are two outstanding works written in the early part of the 20th century for violin and cello. One of them is by Maurice Ravel, and the other one is the one we're about to play for you by Zoltán Kodály. And Kodály's name should be just as well known as Ravel's, really. I'm not sure that it is in this part of the world. But he was a man of incredible gifts and a tremendous passion for teaching music. Not only for composing, he was a wonderful composer, as you will shortly hear, but he also had a passion for teaching, and he developed an entire curriculum of musical education for young children, which became very, very much a bellwether of teaching all over the world. Kodály was also a friend of Bartók. Both of them were Hungarians, and they loved to go out into the wild to the humbler people of their society and discover great new folk melodies, folk music of all kinds. Both Bartók and Kodály felt that the German classical tradition had sort of run its course and that music needed to be refreshed. And what could be better refreshment than to go and discover the music of your indigenous people all around you? And that's what Kodály did, and that's what Bartók did. And you hear a lot of that kind of indigenous music in this duo that we're going to play for you tonight. The duo is in 3 movements. There is a fast movement, a slow movement, and then a very fast movement.